So we move on to the last segment of our session on new paradigms by introducing a new paradigm in our conference, which is a debate. And it's a debate on a topic that has the IFA community very sharply polarized on either sides of this debate. We are introducing structured debates for the first time in our conference this year, and we are indeed very grateful to the advisors who have agreed to participate in these debates. So each debate, and I just want all of us to understand how these debates are structured, each debate, and we will have 4 debates between today and tomorrow, will be structured and time-bound in terms of format. There are 2 teams on either side of the debate. So there are 2 people who will be for a particular motion, 2 people against a motion. And each team gets 3 specific slots of time to speak. So there is a 5-minute opening statement that a team will make. Then the second team makes a 5-minute opening statement. That is then followed by 3 minutes each for rebuttals, for the teams to offer their counters on whatever were the opening statements, which will then be followed by only 2 minutes each of a closing statement. So we are trying to make this really crisp so that the debaters get their points across as crisply as all of us can. So there are no PPTs, there are just extempore debates, right? The first debate, which we're starting right now, is on the topic of free pricing in distribution, whether it is an idea whose time has come. I am delighted to invite our 4 debate participants to the dais for the first ever debate in a Wealth Forum conference. In the camp that supports free pricing in distribution, may I please welcome Shyam Sundar of Peak Alpha, Bangalore, and Harsh Gehlot of FinEdge Advisory, Delhi. Please. Yeah, both of you that side, and then we have the against this side. Yeah. And in the camp that is against free pricing in distribution, may I invite Mr. A.K. Narayan from Chennai, and Abhinav Khetri from Vienna Wealth, Calcutta. So you all can sit here. Yeah. So again, I must thank all our 4 debate participants. This is not only the first debate in the Wealth Forum conferences, but it's also the very first debate among all the debates. So we're really swimming in uncharted territory. We don't know how this whole thing is going to play, and they're going to tell us how this whole thing is going to work out. So as a context, before we start the debates, again, just getting the rules of the game clear. That's the team for free pricing. This is the team against free pricing in distribution. You will start off with a 5-minute time where you make your opening statement, which will be followed by 5-minute time for this team for making their opening statement, which then comes back to you 3 minutes for rebuttal, and then back to team against for 3 minutes of rebuttal, and then 2 minutes for closing statement, 2 minutes for closing statement. Then we go for live poll and audience participation in terms of any further questions that the audience has on this particular topic. By way of context, I've shared this context with our debate participants, but I think it's useful for me to give you the context of this debate. Direct plans compete largely on price and not on any other value proposition. Is that a fair statement? Yes. Yeah? Okay, so direct plans compete on price. At the other end of the spectrum, RIAs are free to fix any price that they want, right? Whether you want a slim price with a volume-based proposition or a heavy margin niched proposition where you add a lot more value. Bottom line is an RIA has pricing flexibility in how they build out their propositions. The one segment in the entire mutual fund space that does not have pricing flexibility is the mutual fund distributor, who cannot compete on price because there is an anti-passback regulation that explicitly prohibits him from doing so. They can neither consider a discount broking model, nor can they consider premium service models where they charge over and above their commissions if they think that they're adding a lot more value, right? So that's the space that a distributor is in. This debate will examine the merits of considering free pricing in distribution as a means to unleash creative and innovative business models that can potentially serve investors better, while on the other hand examining the pitfalls of disturbing a status quo by introducing free pricing. Distributors are yet to come to terms or just coming to terms with heightened commission disclosure, and the fear in a section of distribution is that introducing free pricing will actually push more client conversations into pricing of services, which detracts from the actual delivery of service. Now, the objective of this debate is not to decide who won, but it's to enable all of us, because I know from speaking with a lot of IFAs, we have very sharply polarized views on this topic. All we want to achieve in this 20 minutes of a debate is open your minds to the other side that you didn't want to consider, and then take a well-balanced view on whether you think it's a good idea or no. So we'll start the debate with the camp 4, and your time starts now. That's your time.
Good afternoon, everyone. When we look at free pricing, I'd like to start my session by perhaps defining what I think is free pricing. It's the ability for an IFA to decide what is the value of the service they provide, and to determine, therefore, what is the rightful fee that they can charge for that, or what is the rightful earnings they can get from that. So I just want to put that out there as what we think of as free pricing. Now, I'd like to pull that back a little bit and say it's not just about free pricing. I think the need or the context is slightly broader. I think the context is more about freedom. The context is freedom on business model, the context is freedom on customer service models, and also therefore free pricing. And if you look at this idea of freedom, and if you look at who are the various participants that are there in our industry today, so you have mutual fund companies, you have the customer, of course, and then you have the service providers, IFAs, RIAs, etc. And I think the pattern is very clear. Everyone else's freedom has increased. So if you look at the customer, for instance, the customer's freedom has gone up because the customer can now choose what is the model in which they want to interact and engage. The customer can say, I'm very happy with my IFA, I'm very happy with that business model, let the regular model continue. The customer can say, I can take care of my own interests quite clearly, I'm happy to go the direct route, and that's what I want to do. The customer can also say, I'd like to work with an advisor and we can negotiate and agree a certain rate. So the customer has freedom of choice. The mutual fund company also interestingly has freedom of choice. It's not to talk about any of our current sponsors, but I think all of us know there were mutual fund companies earlier who used to say, we don't particularly want to deal with advisors. Continued that stance for a while, and then now advisors are good friends. They're not excellent friends, as in they are 25 paisa wala friends, right? So, 15. So you have mutual fund companies also having the ability to kind of change how their business model should work and what they want to go after. RIAs have some flexibility also in terms of how they want to price, but if you look at the IFA has very limited flexibility. And what you've seen evolve over that space is that they've had to walk away from significant chunks of the market. They have had to walk away from institutionals because even though you have IFAs with great talent and great ability to advise, because they could not come up with a commercial model that worked, they had to walk away from that business. And similarly for HNIs. So everybody else has greater freedom, but the IFA's hands are shackled, right? So I think there is a great need for freedom for IFAs, not just across the board, but also in terms of free pricing. Because then an advisor can really add value to all customer types, not just a handful of customer types. The other point I want to make in closing is that we all have assumed that free pricing equals low pricing. Now, I don't think that is true. I don't think that we should assume that because there is free pricing, it is a cycle or a vicious cycle down to zero pricing. It's not true. The more you have the ability to determine what is the value proposition you bring to the table, and that report that Vijay and team have launched today is great to the perspective of being able to articulate the value proposition. If you have the ability to articulate to your client a value proposition that you are actually going to make a big difference to their lives, there is no reason why tomorrow you cannot earn more money than what you earn today with free pricing. I'm very happy to talk about a case of an IFA whom I had the pleasure of riding from Bangalore to Bombay with. And this person told me that for the last many years, what he's been doing is charging an additional percentage fee from his customers in addition to the commission that he was receiving. And I said, well, that's amazing. I wish more people knew about that. And he said, Shyam, most of our barriers are self-imposed barriers. If we believe we can provide a certain service, we should feel happy to charge for it. So I think free pricing has come. Its time has come. We need to break away from our shackles. We need the freedom. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so can we have the team against, and are we ready to get their time? Your time starts now.
Good morning. Let's first define free pricing. I think he made some very valid points, and let's make it very crystal clear. Though he mentioned about being able to charge something more than what we're already earning, but in essence, it is simply legalizing passbacks. It is as simple as that. And let's also be very, very clear that free pricing is a subject where we are only discussing with the investors in the top of the food chain, in the top 1% of the pyramid, with the top 1% of the advisors. It is not relevant to the larger industry. We are talking maybe a very large portion of AUM, but it is not relevant in its entirety to the larger distribution community. And what we must also understand is, why should we start a culture where I am making so much effort in teaching him, in guiding him, and most importantly, managing his behavior, and then I have to bribe him to manage his money? In essence, what we're trying to say is that as an RIA, I'm unable to charge an adequate amount of fees, so let's have a hybrid model whereby allow me to continue as an MFD or a IFA, whatever term you want to call it, but let me discount my services in a way so I still retain that direct AUM which is going away from me. I think we should simply let go of those customers who don't value us. Respect in our industry should be maintained at our side as well. There's a lot we've done for the community of investors, a lot we've done for the industry, and free pricing will be a very, very bad disruptor if it is allowed, and will not encourage newcomers into the industry. These are my points.
Mr. Narayan, would you like to add in the time that's available?
Yeah, good afternoon. I think the free pricing, I'm not sure whether this is going to help the distributor right now. Because in my opinion, a lot of confusion can come in the minds of the investor. All of a sudden, if you go and tell him that we are allowed to have a free pricing regime, like our IPO free pricing or public issues, and change his mind altogether. Now, once Shyam was saying that we may be able to get a little higher, but my own doubt is if we can have the ability to get higher, that customer can also say, why not we bring it down? So that will be the thing, order of the day, and most of the thing will fall on at least 50%, 60% lower, and calculation of commission and other things will be a total chaos in the market. You will remember that institutional sales was there earlier, where the ability to charge commission was there by the AMCs. You charge very, very minimum for institution. That was done away with when SEBI says you must have only direct and also the regular plan. So why it was discontinued? Because they didn't want these things to continue for a long time, having confusion in the minds of the investor. Mr. Vijay Morning, he made a very valid point when he said, a lot of unadvised investors there in the market. I think our objective should be to bring them, rope in the investors into the system now. How to do that with the ability of the SEBI's giving of the expense ratio and the commission being paid to the distributor. I think we should not look at only enlarging the base by going back to the same client again and again. I think we should enlarge the base. For that to happen, we need to go to the unadvised investors right now. For that to happen, we need to spend a lot of money. How do I run my office with this 1% or 0.9% trial commission right now? So it is going to be a very, very tough thing for us. And in this today's scenario, in my opinion, I think it's a very valid point to keep this as it is. As it is, we have a threat of getting the expense ratio bringing down by the regulator at any point of time, and we are getting ourselves prepared slowly but steadily, although we are dead against it. But definitely, we have no business to get into free pricing and throw open this suggestion, in the minds of the regulator to get into it, and it will create a lot of chaos for the investing community and for the distributor community at large. I don't think we are not at all ready. And out of the 80,000 IFAs whom AMFI is putting as an enlarged group of people who are selling it, if you really look at the commission earned by them, the top 1,000 or 1,500 people, 1,500 are getting more than 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs. All rest of them are in the serving the retail investors. Retail investors are going to suffer more and more in case we are going to bring these kind of regulations and self-imposed regulations on our own. I think we should not get into this kind of things very, very fast. I think it is not at all a good idea, and we should go away. And as he was saying, the disruption which is going to cause an account of bringing in these things will be tremendous, which we will not be able to correct it sooner. So we should not get into these kind of things. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abhinav and Mr. Narayan. We now move on to round 2, which is the rebuttals time. So we have 3 minutes for each team to offer their rebuttals on the propositions that have been tabled. The team for free pricing, does the time start now? Yes, your time has started.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much. I'll just try and give my view on a couple of points. Before that, I'll just point out some things based on reality today, right? Whether we like it or not, client has multiple options available to him. That is reality. He has a 0% direct, and he has a RI, which is fee-based, and you have intermediary in the middle who is commission-based. Secondly, passbacks were always a reality. Somebody who is used to passbacks and wants passbacks still gets it today. That is also reality. So you're not really changing any of those realities. We're not changing status quo of the way things are. What really, if you open your mind to this, what really changes significantly is, this entire narrative that we've heard from SEBI and all of that is about them coming in and deciding that, listen, I, at a macro level, will decide for each individual client based which business model you should be in and what value addition you're doing to a client. Now, that itself is very, very harmful, because the only person who can decide what value you're adding to him as a financial advisor is the client himself. If you don't open yourself up saying, listen, I'm going to add value to the client, and the minute you take away the pricing or make it free pricing, the entire focus shifts on how can I add more value. Now, the minute you go and you dismiss this narrative about RI and distribution and MFD and direct, con RI, e-commerce, remove all of that and say, listen, these are my clients. I'm going to go to him. Today, I am only earning X amount of fee. I'm going to add 3 more value additions, and I'm going to get more money from him. He will recognize the value addition that I'm doing to him. That gets opened up. This entire thing changes towards value addition. Whereas some of the realities which are there today, somebody who is very price sensitive will go direct. I mean, there's no question today of passback. That was a question 4-5 years back when direct wasn't available. Now, for a discerning client who is extremely price sensitive, will go direct any which ways. Now, on the other parts, specifically one that you mentioned was that this would be a tool for an RI to earn more money because he's not making money. Well, I don't think that is correct, simply because I'm not an RI, he is, and I'm a MFD in the language of what today is being used. So I don't think it is specifically beneficial to a category of people. It actually opens up the entire world. Today, I'm a retail guy, right? We have clients doing 5,000, 7,000 rupees SIPs. We do get a lot of clients with much larger wallet share who say, listen, I am willing to, I've heard about you, I've heard your advice is very good, I want to take only advice from you, but I want to go direct, and I have to say no to him. What stops me from getting that incremental business? Can I not give service to him? Can I not give him? He's heard about me, he's come to me asking for advice, but I'm leaving that client out. Why? Because SEBI has decided which business model I will be in, and they've decided what value add I can or cannot do to a client they've never met, right? So this is completely illogical. The minute you open this platform up and leave aside the fact that we are in this business of managing clients, the focus goes there and the pricing is accordingly.
Okay. Thank you very much. And rebuttals from the team against free pricing. Your time starts now.
Mr. Gehlot made some very valid points, but he's running a retail model with 30 crores of funding. Many of us don't have that. Okay, so let's be very, very clear on that. No, you cannot interrupt me. I'm sorry. I did not interrupt you. Secondly, passbacks are illegal. There's no concept of reality. They are illegal. I have let go of several customers. My business model, Vijay knows very well, was completely institutional. I have completely moved retail. Okay? I have a zero passback model. I can say it in an open forum. So if you're calling it a reality, so there have to be steps in place to check that. And already Amphi has the power to dismiss or to cancel ARN numbers of people who are doing passbacks. So let's not say it's a reality and let's accept it. Why should we accept it? That's absolutely what we're saying. A lot of points that you made are already available under RIA. Okay, so if you're I'm sure you can set up a separate private limited company and with separate directors and arm's length and table length distance, and you can do your value addition there as much as you feel like. So don't rock this cart. Like I mentioned again earlier, it's the top 1% of customers and it's the top 1% of advisors who want this. For the rest of the market, for the 99% of the market, this is not relevant and it is going to disturb a lot of people. Sir, please understand, newer talent, fresher talent will not even look at considering this industry because we've come out of that stage of 2007 when passbacks were so rampant, and after 2009 when entry loads were removed, the industry got cleaned up. So if in a way we kind of start the free pricing agenda again, we don't know where is it going to stop. It's the stockbroking business. We don't know where is it going to stop. So it's going to hurt a lot of us. Maybe it looks very ideal right now, but it's going to hurt a lot of us if we look at that. And I think these are the basic points I wanted to make, that a lot of flexibility is already there. You can be a mutual fund distributor, you can have an RIA with a distance, and you can add the value that you want to. You want to say something?
Yeah. I think I only want to add, some people who, as you were saying, some people come for advice. Then I think you must have both models then with you, an RIA and also distribution model. We have no choice other than charging the customer by having a RIA model and the distribution model separately. In that case, you will not let go the customer. Maybe you can charge him a little less or no. And my own fear is, in case you have a flexibility in pricing, what will happen is the discussion will revolve around commission only and not on the schemes itself. The fellow will come and sit in my office and he'll keep on asking me how much you'll give me and how much you can reduce, and all those things will keep going. I think we should not give way. Now today the structure is known to the customer. It is not the customer doesn't know we make money. They know that there is a total expense ratio and we get about 1% or 0.9% trial commission. So they know everything very well. It's all black and white today. I think we should not let go this opportunity by saying we are incapable of doing it.
Thank you very much. Time for the closing statement from the camp for free pricing, and your time, does it start now? No. Can the time start now? No. Yes, your time starts now.
Yeah, so coming back to just the closing statement, I do agree with a few points of yours. So on those fronts, sure. Again, according to me, there's a difference between reality and legality of some things. Just because they're illegal doesn't mean they're not happening. On those points, but beyond all of that, I still feel that we've already gone through a couple of events. We've gone through reduction in commission structures which are regulated. We've gone through disclosures. At one time, I remember 1 or 2 years back when we came to Wealth Forum, it was said that that is going to destroy IFAs, and we've seen everybody grow. To a large extent, these are things which will enable you to get a larger market, get trust. And I think the largest and the most important step is the minute we start, as a IFA fraternity, stop thinking about these small things. And I believe me, they're small, and start looking at the bigger thing, value addition. Look at 20 crore more people who have to be brought in, and these are insignificant. And to a large extent, if you can establish trust, and if you can customize pricing to each individual requirement of a client, plus add value, then you can actually look at scalable new businesses, new people coming into this industry with fantastic models, more and more of them. It doesn't hurt anybody, it actually helps everybody grow.
And if I can add to that, if any of us here believes that we have control over what is going to happen to our futures in the next 2, 3, 5 years, and we can choose to go down the free pricing route or not, I'm sorry that we are probably, mistaken there. If we don't take control of our own future, the regulator will take control of our future and decide what will happen. So it is much better that we disrupt rather than be disrupted and have to deal with the consequences of that. So as far as free pricing goes, if we proactively go towards that, get better and better at articulating our value and be clearer with our customers about what we bring on the table, then we would position ourselves for success no matter what, rather than get sideswiped.
Thank you.
In fact, one last thing, the regulator should actually go and start looking at further products like structures and bringing them within that.
Sorry. I have to be a strict disciplinarian in this. My apologies for that. Yes, the camp against your closing statement, your time starts now.
So I just want to know actually which IFA is going to stand to benefit by the free pricing. I'm not sure whether who is asking for this. Maybe a few IFAs may be interested in this and probably think that they can scale up the business. But I'm not sure an ordinary IFA, retail IFA, will he be interested in this kind of free pricing regime today when he's struggling to explain the schemes to the investor and justify the investments itself. A lot of struggle is there being made by a retail IFA today to convert an investor into a mutual fund investor. When that is the case, all the more in this commission and other things will come in the way of the business itself. So I don't think we should do it. Our objective should be to educate the investor. Our objective should be to protect the interest of the investor and also make sure that he is aware of many things. But ultimately, we are also compensated adequately by whatever charges are there, the expense ratio and all that. I think that is a good enough thing, in my opinion. Thank you.
On the point of value addition, can't we add value the way we are right now? Who says we are not already adding value? I think today's morning session made that very, very crystal clear that already value is being added. Our income is already in a way linked to the performance of the investors' portfolios through an all-trail model. And when we talk about charging our customers, I mean, the cost of compliance, the cost of billing, the cost of collection, that's an all-new ballgame that we have to add into our existing systems. Anyway, the current mechanism of conducting business is quite expensive. So this is going to add to that cost. So my final point is, free pricing is not about money. Free pricing is about our respect, and we must not let investors get into the debate about how much you earn, because our respect, end of the day, as financial advisors, is very, very important, because that's where that's what I want to actually conclude this with.
Thank you very much. So we've heard both sides of the debate, and I must thank you for excellent points made. But now it's time for live poll number 3. Please go onto your mobile apps. The live poll number 3, the question is free pricing for distribution. Is it an idea whose time has come? And your options are either you're for free pricing or you're against free pricing. So while these numbers are coming up, allow me to give a couple of housekeeping announcements. One, please don't forget to rate this session on your mobile app, during lunchtime or after this poll. Go to the rate the session screen within the mobile app, and there's a session rating as well as ratings for individual components within the session. Please tell us what you thought about it. And for all our non-Mumbai participants, key cards for your rooms are available at a registration desk at the pre-function area itself. You don't need to go down. Anytime during lunchtime, please go to the check-in counter on the pre-function area and collect your key cards. Meanwhile, we have the overall sense of the house, which is 32% are for free pricing, and the bulk of them are against free pricing among the metros. No, this is frankly not about who won. I mean, that's not fair. That was not the intention. But the sense that this is very interesting. Whether it is metros or non-metros, the numbers are pretty much similar in terms of a fairly overwhelming view that free pricing is not a good idea at this point of time. If you go to the zonal analysis, again, there isn't much to choose from, whether it's north, south, east or west. it seems that there is an overwhelming majority who say, no, no, this is not an idea that we are ready for. And among age-wise, this is pretty interesting. The under 35 are pretty much aligned with the above 35 and the 35 to 50 and the above 51. Everybody, regardless of age, one would have expected intuitively that the younger people would say yes for free pricing, but whether it is young or not so young, it seems to be that it is something like a 70-30, 70% saying no, 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 don't disrupt, don't rock the boat, and 30% saying yes, we're all for it. Regardless, yes, Rajesh.
But I must compliment that 30% have agreed. Thanks to them. Fantastic points.
No, not too many, not too many. Yes, Rajesh, you had a point to make. Yeah, can we get a mic there, please?
Hello.
Yeah, एक minute, Jignesh bhai, 1 minute. After Rajesh, I'll come to you.
Sorry,
Yes.
Vijay, because the house seems to be in red and you know I'm leftist,
Yes.
but I just wanted to bring up two things. If I can just take a minute, please. For
A minute.
yeah, a minute, and you can time me.
Okay.
Just for the understanding of all of us in this room, the automobile industry has been around for 130 plus years. And they have invested more capital than all of us combined have put it in the financial services industry. 2 days ago, one of the largest automobile makers in the world said that they're going to move away from fossil fuel to electricity. Please read the details so you would know where I'm coming to. But when I'm coming to this topic, the reason why I was saying the house being in red is not so great for us, and I'm putting up the red flag here, is because a lot of people believe that India would skip generations when it comes to adoption of even financial services, products and services. And the way the world is moving substantially towards active ETFs. And in any intermediation, whether it is RIA or distribution, there is a concept of cost of agency. And the cost of agency is split into three: the principal, the agent, and the loss that can be attributed to the principal and agent not being in sync on that decision. So the principal has a cost of agency of monitoring his investments. The agent has a cost of bonding with this customer, and the residual loss is the consequence of these two not being aligned. Whether you are getting commission or whether you are getting fees, the cost of agency will exist because we are at the end of the day an agent of either the manufacturer or the customer or both. So where I'm coming from is that if we start thinking that free pricing is against us, I think in future we might have more trouble to
So
take
your point
for
is
ourselves.
we are not seeing the future as clearly as we should. That's your point.
Yeah.
Jignesh bhai,
Thank you.
yes. I'll come
Can
to
I
you.
answer? Can I make a point against that? Can
Sure.
I say something?
Sure. 30 seconds.
Rajesh, I'm just answering to what you said. If I bring iFast into the context, you have
Okay. Jignesh bhai, yes, you had a point.
दो पॉइंट पे बोलना चाहता हूँ.
बोलिए
एक तो अगर फ्री प्राइसिंग है तो उसका मतलब ये भी हो सकता है कि कोई 3% 5% भी चार्ज ले सकता है.
Correct.
तो अगेंस्ट द इन्वेस्टर है. तो सेबी ने उसके लिए लिमिट रखा है कि भाई 2.5% या 2% हर एक फंड में. और दूसरा, आप इंडिया का पूरा देखेंगे तो छोटे छोटे शहर, छोटे कस्बे और बड़े बड़े शहर वो भी है. तो वहाँ पे भी थोड़ा, अगर बॉम्बे और बेंगलोर का क्लाइंट शायद चार्ज दे सकता है, लेकिन छोटे शहर में वो चीज़ पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो वो चीज़ भी आगे.
Bilkul. Pallav, we'll come back to you. I've got both of you. And Pallav, yes.
So I'm against free pricing. No, with all due respect to everybody on the dais, actually. So free pricing actually has been basically discussed by people actually who are pretty large in terms of size. So we have to think actually what happens if a smaller guy goes and gets a new client, and the larger guy goes and says कि ये तेरे को 1% दे रहा है, मैं तेरे को 50 basis points में देता हूँ. So we have to think in a holistic and a larger perspective. So free pricing for people who have got funding and people who are large in size and have got scale, it's very, very easy to acquire clients. No free pricing as a
So your point is that free pricing will enable a larger player to disrupt a smaller player.
exactly.
Can I just
Got it.
take another
Yes.
minute? So
Yeah, because we heard funding twice. So
I'm not answering on that. No, so somewhere I think there's a slight confusion on free pricing. Free pricing does not mean not charging anything at all, right? And I'm completely in agreement with you, which is exactly why I am asking for free pricing. There'll be some retail clients, somebody will be in smaller cities, larger, doesn't matter, right? So the thing is, free pricing allows you to go to each individual client and allows you to have a customized fee. It could be, oh yes, normal, just like everybody else, I'm going to get commission from your income. 90% of your clients will remain like that. That is also part of free pricing. It could also be for some, now I'll give you a very classical example when you were talking about acquiring clients. Typically on a trail-based model, a 3,500 rupees SIP gives you about 7 rupees a month, right? I think everybody will agree that it is not feasible to do that business. It's not even right from any angle. We cannot provide any service to a client. If you go to him and say, listen, I'm going to do this for you. On a yearly basis, I'm going to charge you 200 rupees additionally for my logistics. So I'm just saying a free...
hey, Pallav,
Just one point.
Okay,
So for you, it might be as an increase in fee. But for Mr. Shekhar, it might be to stop a client from going to direct. So
Absolutely.
So I'm going to start a new
yes.
debate now. I'm going to start a new debate for lunch or against lunch.
No,
because it's now 1:20. So either we can keep
I'll
talking.
just